Yo, this is an ugly gun. It's true. I admit it. This gun is ugly. This gun is so ugly that if it was a little boy, you'd have to tie a pork chop around its neck so the family dog would play with it. That's how ugly this gun is. Now, please keep in mind, in case there's any snowflakes watching, that that is no intention or no allusion or anything like that to playing with guns. Guns are not toys. But anyway, yeah, she's an ugly gun. But I wanted to show this video today and talk a little bit about the old, well, I guess kind of the new, the 638, and just give you my thoughts on it. Now, yeah, you know what? Someone do me a favor. Count how many times I use the word ugly in this video. I'm curious how many times it'll come up. But yeah, this is the 638. In case there's any snowflakes watching, look, it's empty. This gun, myself, like a lot of old Smith & Wesson type guys, you know, I'm not saying I'm a Smith & Wesson maniac or follower or fanboy or something like that, you know, especially their later work. You know, their quality has kind of diminished some over the years, which is sad. But this gun, when people used to say Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, this is the gun I thought of. Now, the reason behind that is well, when the Smith came out with the Chief Special, I think that was in, what was it? Check my video on the Model 36, the Chief Special. I think it was 1952 or 53. That was really essentially the first J-frame series type revolver. And it was a great gun. Model 36 is still a great gun today. You know, all steel frame, J-frame revolver. But what happened is the Colt company came out with their little revolver around that, well, it was maybe a year or two after that, which was the, I think it was the Detective Special. And the Detective Special had a hammer on it like the Model 36. Like the Smith & Wesson Model 36. But Colt sold a neat little gizmo that you could put over the top of a Detective Special that shrouded the hammer. And see, the whole premise behind this shrouded hammer is you can draw this from a pocket or holster or concealment and don't have to worry about that hammer acting like a hook and catching something. And when Colt did that, people seemed to really like it. And so Smith & Wesson was like, oh, wow, we need to do something like that. So they came out with the Model 38. The Model 38 was, I think, it was a steel. Well, I take that back. No, the Model 38 was aluminum frame, steel barrel, steel cylinder revolver. And it was the first, you know what? And I'm going to drop in a picture of that Colt Shroud right here, if I can find one on the internet. I'm sure I can. But this is what the Colt Shrouded hammer looked like. And when Smith came out with the Model 38, it had the little, what you see here today. It had the little shrouded hammer. And again, we're empty. But what this lets you do is it will let you shoot the gun. It can draw the gun from concealment easily. Very, very minimal risk of it getting hung on something. Now, yeah, it is possible. Oh my gosh, there's a little nub. It's possible. But very, very capability, you know, very, very low risk of that happening, okay? So you can shoot a double action all day long, just like any other Model 30, you know, double action only revolver. But if you need to, you can reach up with your thumb and shoot it single action. Now, this brings into mind a question that people most often will use against a 638 or a Model 637 or any snubby that has a hammer on it. Why would you need that when you can just carry this? Well, this is the Model 642. This one's unloaded, and you don't have the option to cock the hammer. And, you know, realistically speaking, in a self-defense revolver, yeah, I agree with that. 99.8% of the time, you probably won't have a need to cock this. Now, those of you who aren't familiar enough with revolvers, well, let me explain the advantage. When you cock this to shoot it, you see how that trigger pulls back right there? That means you only have to pull the trigger just a little space, just like that. to get this to go bang versus doing the heavy, long trigger pull like so, okay? So what that means is that the vast majority of people, when they cock a revolver like this, and you're sitting there sighting down those little bitty sights and you're trying to keep things lined up and accurate, it's a heck of a lot easier to just pull that little trigger that little way and get you a more accurate shot, is what it comes down to. Why would you need it? I don't know. But again, I said 99.8, and that's just my personal opinion. You never know when you might need to take off an accurate shot. A shot that, of course, you're going to be under stress, you're going to be under tension, and that's the reason most people don't like a revolver that would cock like this, because if you're stressed and shaked out and everything, it's a whole lot easier to accidentally pull that little trigger versus doing this long, 12-pound, 11-pound, whatever it might be, trigger pull on a standard 638. On a standard double action only, like a 642. So that's the purpose that they have behind this. And that's a reason why, really, if I'm going air weight more often than not, if I'm doing a 38, this is the one I'll reach for versus the 642. Because 0.2%, obviously, odds are you're not going to need it, but you never know. Plus, you never know when you're carrying this, and you might need to dispatch a rattlesnake that's attacking your dog or something like that. Something that is a critter that is doing harm to you or your loved ones, and you might need to take that accurate shot and wish that you had a single action capability. But anyway, yeah, so they came out with the Model 38. This is a 638. Why is this a 638? Well, because it has the stainless barrel, stainless cylinder, aluminum frame. Okay, the Model 38s were usually when I picture a Model 38, they're blued steel with walnut grips, etc. They came out with the 638. Nowadays, I think, obviously, they still make the 638, and they also make a 649, which is the equivalent to the 640. If you haven't seen my 640 video, go check that out. 640 and 357 Magnum, all stainless steel revolver. The 649 is just like that, except it has the shrouded hammer like this. That gives you the capability to cock it now. To cock it, rather. So, Smith, over the years, they called it the Bodyguard when it came out in 1955. Then after 1957, when Smith decided to start numbering the revolvers, that's when they changed it to the 38. But that's why a lot of guys, when they hear Bodyguard, they think, when they see this type of revolver, they think, oh, that's a Bodyguard. But what Smith has done over the years is they started calling one of their little 380s the Bodyguard. They actually have another 38 snub revolver today that they call the M&P Bodyguard that has a completely shrouded hammer, very similar to a 642. And actually, I'm wanting to say that Bodyguard maybe has a polymer frame. I know it has some funky cylinder release like up here on it instead of the traditional Smith one. But I hear they're pretty good revolvers. I have never had a chance to shoot one or have one on the bench here for us to take a look at. But yeah, so really, in my opinion, this gun really fits the void, fills a void that normally you would either have to have a 637, which is the Smith with the exposed hammer, or a 642, which is the fully enclosed one. Why have either one of those when you can have one of these that takes care of both purposes? Well, because this is ugly. That's the reason why a lot of people don't like these, is because for some reason, and I agree, this curved little part right here, I'm like anybody else. I'm selfish. I like my guns to look pretty, unless it's a Glock, of course, then I'm just looking for utility. But, this is definitely not an attractive feature for some reason. And that's why usually you can find these. I know here in the Texas used market, you can usually pick up 638s for, gosh, I don't know, 40, 50 bucks cheaper than it is for a 642. Definitely cheaper than it is for a 637. It seems like 637s are a little bit hard to come by down here. So, but yeah, let's go ahead. Let's put this on the scale. And my dog's barking back there. I apologize if y'all can hear him. My gosh, someone's outside on the street and they don't have a walking permit issued by him. We'll put the 638 up here first. We got a dry weight of 14.2. which, yeah, you know, it's not breaking any records or anything like that. But let's load it up, or put 5 rounds of ammo up here of my favorite carry ammo. Takes it up to 16.7, and if y'all seen my videos before, you know I love these little Underwood wad cutters. 16.7 ounces. So let's scatter that ammo everywhere. And again, just on the 638, we were 14.2. Let's see what the 642 weighs next to it. 14.5, 0.3 ounces heavier. Now that might be some fluke with my particular revolvers. May have something to do with this one. Does have the original Smith grips on it. And those of you, the sharp eyes, have probably noticed that I have a Hogue Bantam grip on this one. I tend to prefer the Bantam a little bit better on my air weights. But you know, 2/10 of an ounce difference is still 2/10 of an ounce lighter. But yeah, guys, it's ugly. But you know, yeah, what's not to love? I guess it's just an ugly gun that, you know, everybody has an ugly gun or two in their collection. I personally think there are uglier guns than the bodyguard models of Smiths, but they are few and far between. Gosh, what is that cheap? Oh, High Points. I think the High Point 9mm and 45s with those huge Cass's Amex slides. Gosh, I think those are butt ugly. Kel-Tec has come out with their fair share of ugly firearms over the years, but you know, and sometimes in Kel-Tec's defense, sometimes their firearms do work pretty good. And no, that's not really knocking Kel-Tec. I know Kel-Tec makes its stuff, but a lot of times you got to do some tweaking and everything else for it. But yeah, basically today, that's all I wanted to do, is take a look at this little old, or this old ugly 638, and just ask y'all, you know, hey, what's not to love on it? You guys give me your thoughts. Give me your opinions. Drop them down in the comments below. If you have any questions on this, drop them in the comments. I try to reply to all of my comments when I can. And don't forget to click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. And thanks for watching. Y'all be safe out there.